1.4 billion search results in 0.7 seconds. 140 million monthly players, 600 million copies ever sold, $3 billion generated in game sales alone, and over 1 trillion views on YouTube and counting as of 2 years ago. The game that all of these overwhelming numbers derive from is a game that was made public in 2009 with its official release in 2011, costs $30, and has the graphical requirements of a potato in a pie glass. This is a game that is over 12 years old, but has versions across multiple platforms. Despite its age, it still outperforms some AAA titles that have been released within the last 5 years. This is a game that is still generating revenue in colossal masses for not only the developers and designers working on the game, but also anyone who associates with manufacturing merchandise, selling the physical and digital products, and creating content in any regard about it. This is a game that is a global phenomenon that has taken the internet entirely by storm upon its release, only to undergo another explosion in popularity during the pandemic, revitalizing its foundations. The informal definition of addiction is to be enthusiastically devoted to something, and it is safe to say that a large majority of people who enjoy this game would fall under this category. If you are part of the few who don't enjoy this game in any regard, you might be looking at all this like mass hysteria, while asking yourself, what makes this game so addicting? The game in question? Minecraft. To help find our conclusion, I interviewed a good friend of mine and a fellow YouTuber, Daniel, or some of you might know him as the Medieval Jedi.
Yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Daniel back at it again with another Minecraft. Sorry.
He has some insightful opinions on the mystery, so we might hear from him every now and then. The Oppenbarby effect is a... one sec, wrong script. In this seemingly infinite world made up of a geometer's wet dream, 100%ing the game or doing everything it has to offer may not seem like a viable route in playing the game. In juxtaposition to nearly every other game on the market now, a game that has no linear path or story to follow on paper would seem like a flop or meaningless attempt. Wait, did you hear that word? Meaning. Well, technically I said meaningless, but you get the point. Meaning. Games, or anything for that matter, come pre-packaged with meaning, a direction or agenda to be followed, a point or meaning to be made. If we look at a game like Doom, a game whose fame is possibly entirely due to its history and agenda, we can see this mindset in full effect. The point of that game, the meaning of that game, is to dispense doom amongst those who have earned it. Rip and tear through hordes of aliens and demons as you and your giant guns wreak havoc in the different corners of hell. What the fuck? Did I just read an ad or something? Anyways, the game has a very direct and apparent meaning to it, which in turn draws it to the audience who seeks that very meaning. So if Doom is successful because it has a clear meaning, can the same be said about Minecraft? Well, not exactly. If we look at it like we looked at Doom, then the point of the game is to mine and to craft. While that is not entirely wrong, anyone who enjoys the game can say that there's more to it than that. If we were judging games by their titles like we could for Doom, then in all honesty, the massive sandbox should be called Mine, Explore, Adventure, Build, Combat, Interdimensional Travel, Brew, Enchant, Forge, Bake, Craft. Obviously, I'm not being serious, but you get the point. What is your earliest memory of the game? Is it like playing the game? Is it seeing something like maybe in a book or watching a video about it? But just kind of walk me through what your first memory, your earliest memory of the game is.
My very first memory had to have been the Minecraft trailer to start, but I think I played a few weeks after, but it was on like the beta edition, so it was where you had like your inventory was only a certain amount of blocks, like just different colors and everything. I remember that was like my very first memory, and I think I created Yoshi or Mario. I did something, so I thought it was funny, and there was somebody else on the server with me.
Another game we can analyze, whose points extend past its title, is Overwatch. I have extensive history with Overwatch, and honestly, revealing that information might have just lost half the viewers. But we push forward. Please don't leave. Overwatch is a game whose title has virtually nothing to do with its point or agenda. On the surface, it's a multiplayer hero shooter with an agenda surrounding the new battle pass and patching heroes every month. However, go deeper than that and you'll find the foundations of a story in the works, literally and metaphorically. Literally, the devs are currently working on PvE features that allow players to finally experience the story and lore within the world of Overwatch. Metaphorically, there's a story specifically with the hero selection. Everyone plays their own way, and the game accommodates this by enabling different roles. If you are a run and gun kind of person, there are DPS heroes that facilitate this style. If you want to hang back and support the teammate while they spearhead the fight, the game has abilities for you to foster your dreams. If you want to be a giant monkey that can dive my supports, forcing me to counterpick, only be met with another counterpick, but my DPS understands the tactic of peeling up to fight and take the torch, it's... Sorry about that. The game lets you play how you want to play, to a degree. You still have to play Overwatch the way it's intended. Here, the difference lies. Minecraft doesn't have these parameters. There are options and suggestions as to how you can play, but there are no rules. That's what makes this game so addictive. Not the rush of murdering demons who are written to be morally wrong, so there's no remorse with the horrible, gruesome deaths that are dispensed, and not the competitive drive wanting to murder a giant, sentient monkey or achieve victory over the other team. There is no win, and there is no lose. There is simply expression. The answer to our question, what makes this game so addictive, is found in this ideology. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. One thinks himself the master of others, and still remains a greater slave than any. John Rousseau, 1762. It is entirely possible that we, the most superior animals on the earth, believe that we have control over our own lives, that we can break the societal boundaries and set our own destiny. But it is even more plausible that the very beings that think this way alleviate all of their agency to the confinements of those very rules when we play video games. Ironically, these games are perceived as an escape from the confinement of the real world, but if we look deeper, they only seem to be an extension. For this very reason, Minecraft is addictive. There are no rules. There is no game to beat. Sure, there are in-game achievements that can be earned, and sure, there's a boss, but no one is saying you have to 100% the game and slay the dragon. The answer to our question has been hiding in plain sight all along. It's you. You make this game addictive. The choices you make and the way you play can totally be expressed to unimaginable extents in this game. Other sandbox games exist that follow the same premise, take Terraria for example, but even they have constrictions. The game is literally 2D and is about getting one cool sword to kill a bad guy, only to get another cool sword. In Minecraft, you can choose to build, craft, fight, collect, anything. That's not even taking into consideration the possibilities you can open up by playing other people's creations like mods and custom maps. The game is malleable. It contains the foundations that allow for easy change since there is no one way to play the game. When most games are created, their main selling point is most commonly the aspect of the game either being updated or funded after the honeymoon phase of its launch. After a while, these updates can be redundant and or underwhelming. This eventually leads to decline in player base, which in itself also leads to the decline of sales and players. This can also be said for content creators. Many channels have built a massive fan base on the basis of pleasing a niche, however, the issue still persists. After some time, the content becomes redundant and no longer entertaining since it feels like the same rehashed ideas. Some channels are lucky and make it out, but only by adopting a new business strategy. Changing. By curating a new catalog of content to produce, the chances of retaining viewership and or accumulating new viewers increase. Of course, the threat of crashing and the opposite is apparent, just as it is for games mentioned earlier. Once room for updates and changes has been used up, the only options are to sync with the ship or to build a new one and hope it holds. Many industries will create a new game once the old one has dwindled enough to hopefully recover the magic. This problem is a frequent issue that is common amongst almost all content creators and game developers alike. This issue is another reason as to why Minecraft is so addicting and has survived for so long. Not because it has been able to change adequately over the years, but because it has not needed to change. The bones of the game are constructed in a way that allows for free and infinite interpretation of the game. The game devs are constantly making updates on every portion of the game and not just the main story, since there is no main story. The adventure update, the nether update, the combat update, all of these updates are completely separate portions of the game. The game is malleable. It can and has changed with the never-ending creep of joining the great majority. I don't really know why I phrased time like that. That was kind of dark. Maybe it's just because I just watched Oppenheimer, but I don't know. Anyways. Why did you continue playing? Like, what, after your initial introduction to the game, brought you back to continue playing the game?
I know that I have two reasons. My first reason had to be how Minecraft was basically pushing out like new updates, but they were like really good. They were just fun sounding. Like the end, the adventure update, like they were bringing out new things to the game that basically expanded what you can do, and it felt like you could pretty much do whatever you wanted, however you wanted. And secondly, I've had many friends play, like I've played Minecraft with so many different people, and it's like, each experience is always something different. Like you're never gonna get the same experience.
Escaping a game that does exactly what you want, how you want it, when you want it, is really difficult. No other game can give you that. On top of that, no other game can consistently put up the numbers that this game has for so long. A game that garners more views on YouTube than any other game or topic for that matter. A game when searched on Google will produce more results than Marvel, Fortnite, weed, a literal addictive drug, and the one and only Jesus himself. A game that continues to perform and draw in players of all generations despite the average lifespan of a game being only about 2 years. This is a game that is incredibly, undeniably, and overwhelmingly addictive, informally at least. So when we ask what makes this game so addictive, the answer? It's you. If you're still around to hear this, then thank you so much for watching all of this. If you really enjoy the content, then just go ahead and click that subscribe button and comment down below what you want to see next or what you thought of it all, whether you agree or disagree with me. And since you're still here, here's a picture of my cat.